Well, hi there, everybody. It's Tiffany with Ready, Set, Crop. It is Sunday, March 26th, and I am recording this on Facebook Live, and then the replay will be available on my YouTube channel to watch anytime. So thank you so much for joining me. This is actually my 3-year anniversary of doing lives. My daughter pointed that out to me last week. I think it was the 20th. That was the first time that I did a live, March 20th, 2020. So I've been doing them ever since then. During the pandemic when we were home, I was doing them every night of the week, sometimes 7 nights a week I was doing them. Obviously I've slowed down quite a bit because life goes on and work continues and family obligations. So I usually try to do 2 nights a week when I can. I didn't do any last week because I was away in Disney and then just kind of reconfiguring after being away. So I figured tonight's a good night for me to be doing this. So thank you so much for joining me on this Sunday night in the virtual craft room. I am going to be using some products tonight from the Tropic Time collection. I'm still kind of working on that. If you've seen my lives before, I like to keep a collection together in a project folder like this. I always include an index card where I keep track of the layouts that I do. So I've done 3 layouts already with the Tropic Time collection. I still have a lot of paper and supplies left. So I have plenty more layouts to make with this, but I try to use a collection until I use the whole thing. And then I can empty that project folder of all the little scraps and put in a new collection. But that way it gets me using the things that I purchase rather than hoarding them and saving them for some special occasion. So I have photos from my birthday. So my birthday is on February 22nd, and that is National Margarita Day. So my daughter and I both got margaritas when we went out to dinner for my birthday. And we took a really cute photo of ourselves enjoying our margaritas. And I know the photo exists, but my daughter hasn't, and she hasn't texted me the photo yet. So I'm gonna do the layout without photos tonight, but I do know it's a vertical photo, so I know how to put it together, and then I can just print the pictures later and add them on. Now we had blackjack margaritas, that is my favorite, and they're purple. So I went through my stash and I found this piece of purple paper. There's not a lot of purple in the collections that I have. So this was one left over. This is the other side of it. I think it was some kind of baby girl in the forest kind of collection from several years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And this is like the last piece that I have, but this purple will work well. And then I wanted to do some green with it. So I thought these two, I have this cardstock and this pattern paper. And then I have some white that I'm going to use. And then I have all the Tropic Time embellishments and the Tropic Time letters in the green that I'm going to use for my title. So I'm going to set those things aside. I am going to start with my big embellishment. I want to use the new Citrus Slice Border Maker cartridge. And what I'm going to do with this is I am going to cut a circle from the Jumbo Circle template. And I'm using the red cutter, and I'm cutting inside the circle. Normally, I oftentimes will cut outside the circle. For this one, I'm cutting inside the circle. I'm gonna fit my 2 little feet in the groove and then just cut around. And now before I move my template, I'm gonna lift this up to make sure I cut all the way through, because sometimes you miss a spot and you don't wanna move your template and then have to try to reset it. So I've got my circle there. Set this stuff aside. And typically, you put your cartridge in here and then you would put it along the side to cut a border. I'm gonna cut right on this circle. So what I am going to do is flip this over so I can see what I'm doing with my punch. And I am going to put my paper right in, and I'm gonna fit it as far as I can into the cartridge. And I've got my 2 little citrus slices. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this just a little bit. I'm gonna put it in so that I can see that it's overlapping, and then move it over just a smidge, like a 1/8 of an inch maybe. And I'm just gonna make sure I get all the little pieces out before I move it so that it doesn't get stuck on anything. And I'm gonna keep doing that all the way around. I'm gonna line it up and then move it over just a smidge. Tap out all the excess. Now, punching the border makers on a circle like this is one of my favorite things to do with the border makers, but each one, because they're all a different size and different shapes and everything, each one takes a little bit of fiddling with to figure out the best size circle. Some of them aren't going to work at all. This one isn't perfect, but I'm okay with that. It's giving me the look that I want. Kind of a scalloped circle is what I'm getting from this, but it's got that citrus slice. And when this one came out, the first thing I thought of was margaritas, maybe because I love a margarita. That's what it made me think of. So I'm just careful to place this in here, cutting it upside down so that most of the little pieces come out, giving it a little tap to make sure I get all the pieces out. I've got my last piece that I'm going to cut. Okay. Now you can see it's not perfect and there's a lot of little remnants, so I'm just going to take my microtip scissors and I'm going to cut these little wedges that were left behind, just to finish it out. And you know, you're not going to really notice that this wasn't a perfect. Now here it's a little bit too much. I probably didn't space them out as best as I could. Yeah, here there wasn't enough space, so it ended up with too much space in between those last two, but I can certainly cover that up with an embellishment and it's not that big of a deal. So I'm just kind of trimming all these little wedges out of here. Slide that all to the side. And now here I have this really pretty citrus scalloped circle. So I'm going to pull my papers back over. And I'm going to start with the purple, and I'm going to trim this down a little bit. Yeah, definitely feeling margarita-ish, right? So Nancy, confession here, this is the one I just did. I cut this one out earlier to try it and make sure that it came out okay, but I cut out several others that are in my recycling. So I did this one here. Let me move my trimmer so you can see how that one looks. Because I like to practice when I'm doing something new. I want to practice it before I show it to you guys, obviously, so that it's not a complete disaster. So let me show you this one. This one I trimmed out that big circle, but I cut inside the circle, and I didn't line it up properly down here, so it didn't quite match up the way I wanted it to. Sometimes you can play with the cuts and you can use the different blades to get a different size circle, and it might work out a little bit better. But this is one that I tried doing it on the inside. I did one where I tried it on the outside. So I did quite a few trying it out. This one I liked the best. But it's a technique that I use a lot. I really like using the border maker in the circle form. So I am going to trim out an inch from the center of my paper. So I am moving my paper over to 11 inches, and I'm bringing my blade down to 1 inch, and I'm stopping at an inch from the bottom. And then I'm going to turn it, and I'm going to do the same thing on the 3 other sides. So I'm just going to cut a frame, basically. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I do this on nearly all of my layouts because I like the look of a framed layout. I like how it kind of brings your eye into the center. but I also like to get this excess out of there. I can use that piece for matting my photos. I can save it and use it for borders. So I really like doing that. So now I'm taking my purple and I'm going to trim a 1/2 inch off of 2 sides. And this little 1/2 inch I will save. Believe it or not, I have a mason jar filled with 1/2 inch strips because I do this so often that I end up with a lot of 1/2 inch strips, and I'll use those on a layout. I am a very thrifty scrapper. Perhaps I am a bit of a pack rat, but I think most of us crafters have that kind of pack rat tendency. So now I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of my purple and just on the outside edges, because we don't have anything in the center. I've cut that frame out. There's nothing in the center. So if I put adhesive in the middle, I would have nothing left. Oh, I think I might have to replace my adhesive pretty soon. So I'm going to put this down, and then that's going to give me the nice green frame around my layout. And now I'm going to grab my citrus circle here, and that's going to go kind of down towards the bottom right. Just going to put a few pieces of adhesive on here. Yeah, the green is really nice. I can't remember the name of this green, but it's a Creative Memories cardstock. That the green name has evaded me. So I have these 2 pieces of cardstock that I have cut out to 3 1/4 by 4 1/4 to represent my photos, because my daughter has my photos for this layout. So I'm just going to pretend that they're going here, and I'll print them and add them on later. I wanted to grab some cards. So I've got the variety mats here, and I am going to use, I think I'm going to use this one as an embellishment, and I'm going to use this one for my title, and then I'm going to use this one for my photos. So I'm going to trim this one in half. And then I can add my photos on here. So I'm going to put them kind of overlapped like this. And this is just so I have a little bit of a mat behind my photos. So I will print my photos as 3 by 4s, and then so they'll have a little bit of white around them, as well as the green. So I'm going to kind of overlap them like this. I'm going to grab my foam squares and pop those up. I love using the variety mats just for a really quick and easy way to mat your photos. And what I really like is they're usually coordinating patterns with the collection, but they're different. So you're going to get different designs. And I really like that. So let's see, I'm going to start with the one on the left. So I have a photo of my daughter and I with our margaritas, and then I just have a graphic that says February 22nd, National Margarita Day. So those are the 2 photos that are going to be on this layout. And once I get the photos, I will print them and then update for you guys so you can see what it looks like with the photos on here. Just gonna fix this a little bit. So that's gonna go like that. Okay, now I'm going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. I really like this card. It gives me tropical margarita vibes, even though we were drinking margaritas in February in Massachusetts, but you know, I like the tropical margarita vibes, and it says Our Happy Place. And we were at dinner, my birthday was on a Wednesday night, and I pretty much go to the same restaurant every Wednesday night. My good friend is a musician and he plays there. And so it's my happy place. I'm there every Wednesday night. So this one worked out perfectly for this layout. So I'm going to just quickly fussy cut around the outside edges of some of these. I'm not going to get too fussy with these. But just to give it a little bit of interest, so it's not just a plain square card. I like to do this a lot. This is a fun thing to do if you're watching a movie, sitting on the couch, have your little pile of things that you want to fussy cut. I love doing that. Or watching YouTube. You could pull up my videos on YouTube and have them on in the background as you're fussy cutting things. And these micro tip scissors work perfect for that. All right, so there I have our happy place. I'm going to do the same thing with this center leaf, and that's going to be the base for my title. So again, these are cards that were from the mats from Tropic Time. And when Tropic Time came out, at first I thought, oh, that's not one that I need because I'm not going anywhere tropical. I don't have any tropical photos. But the colors of the collection are so pretty, and I have really enjoyed using the papers. So even if you feel like it doesn't fit with your life, you'll probably find a reason to use them. If they're the colors that you enjoy scrapping with. So I'm just going to cut out a little bit between some of these leaves just to give it a little bit more detail. And this is a pretty bold shape, so it's not too intricate. Now, this might be something that you hate doing. I have heard people say, oh, I hate to fussy cut. So just skip this part and just leave it as a plain square. If you don't like fussy cutting, don't do something that you don't enjoy, because scrapbooking is all about having fun and doing what makes you happy. But I like to get the shape of the leaf here. I think that's kind of nice. Make that stand out a little bit. All right, one more. Thanks for bearing with me. Okay, so this I'm gonna tuck down here, I think. Yeah, so this is why putting my photos up on the foam dots really helps, because then it gives me a spot to tuck these things in. So I'm gonna tuck this, our happy place, down here. And then this is gonna be my title, and that's gonna go up there, but I'm gonna get my letters out. Now for my title, I just wanted to do Bday Margs, birthday margaritas. So let's spell that out on here. B. These letters are really fun. They've got the green tropical pattern in there. I really like them. So, because margarita is just too long of a word to spell. So I'm just doing Bday Margs. And I am overlapping them a little bit just so that they all fit on the leaf. Okay. And now that's going to tuck in right there. And then I'm just going to grab a few embellishments. So I have the Tropic Time embellishments. And what I like to do with these is I have this adorable bowl that I keep here on my table, and I just dump everything out. That way I can kind of flip through it easily. I've got these really pretty gems too. I definitely want to use those. So I don't need a surfboard, but that leaf might be nice. See what else is on this side. Oops. Those flowers are nice, but I have all these over here, so I don't think I need more of that grouping. But I might do that there just to bring a little bit of that color. And then I think I want to get some of these lighter colors up here. So let me see what I can add up there. This is kind of cute. It's a good day to have a good day. Let me see. I should have flipped through these ahead of time so you guys didn't have to watch me flipping through these. I just want a flower. Maybe that one. And that light green leaf. Yeah, I think that'll do it. Because I don't want to cover up too much, because I've got this lovely citrus border and I want that to still show up. I like that it's a good day to have a good day, but I think I'll save that for something else. And I will just add this here. And again, because I have the photos popped up, I can tuck these things underneath easily. You could also put them on pop dots too, if you wanted them to pop up. And then I've got spots to do my journaling here, or I could write it along here somewhere. I'm gonna add a couple of these gems. Yeah, making you thirsty. Oh, I love a blackjack margarita. It's so good. So let's see. I think I'm gonna do this pink is kind of pinkish purplish. So I'm gonna do, maybe I'll do the big one. Do the big one. And then I'll do a little green one and this little dark green one. And then down here, I'll do this big green one and then a little pink and a little light green. So just two little, maybe I'll do a couple gems down here too. I'll do big green, little dark green, little pink. And I'll probably put the date down here. That way this is another little cluster. And now I'm just gonna add a little bit of splatter because I love to add splatter to my layouts. So for this one, I'm gonna grab the green, which is the same leaf green that matches the cardstock. And grab a piece of packaging. So this is just leftover packaging from something, and I'm going to use the thick end and just scribble right on here. And then I just have a basic paintbrush and a jar of water, and I am just going to get my paintbrush in the water so that I have some nice ink, and I'm just gonna do some green splatters on my layout because I love to add a little bit of splatter. I'm gonna grab the blue marker, and that will mix with the green and make like a pretty turquoise. Yeah, that's pretty. Couple little splatters of the turquoise. And so these are just the Creative Memories journal pens. They have the two ends. They have the fine tip for your journaling, and then they have the wide tip for coloring. So I love to use these for that splatter technique. So I just added a few little splatters, and then lastly, I am going to add a black outline around the edge. because that's another thing that I just really enjoy doing, is just kind of adding a little bit of outline. And I like to freehand it. You could certainly use a ruler if you were doing this and kind of nervous about it being crooked. So, like I said, when my daughter gives me my photos, I'm going to print those and add them there, and I'm going to add the date and journaling down here. But then that's it. That's my birthday margarita layout all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I entered everybody's names in that shared my post and followed me on YouTube, and this was my 3-year anniversary giveaway that I was doing, and I posted that earlier this week. So my winner is Naomi Nelson. Thank you so much. I am going to email you. You win the $30 gift card for shopping with me. And thank you guys so much for watching along with all of my videos. I will post the replay, and then I will post a picture of the final layout once I have the photos and journaling done as well. And I'll be back here again on Thursday night. So I'll see you again soon in the virtual craft room. Good night, everybody.